Alright, so what I'm going to show you next is some of the lovely little stick pins or lapel coat pins from Babycraft. These are them there. You get 20 in a pack. I've managed to use about 10 of them, I think. You saw one of them on the packaging that I put together, and these are the other ones I've made. I've just stuck them in this little bit of linen cloth here so you could see them. It's alright, I've got my fan on and it's blown bits of fluff on it. Okay, so there you go. Flower pins in different styles. This one is a beautiful double flower stick pin. This one is one I made a while ago. It's just a nice little burnt edged flower, and it has one of the tulle centers in it, and the tulle is from Babycraft, and so are all the pearls. This one's a simple flower one with the same sort of centers. You may recall I made these lovely little centers quite a while ago, and every so often I'll grab one of these out, and what I do with them is I snip into it like that, being careful not to cut any of the threads that I've stitched it on with. And then I gently just go like that, and it curls the edges up a little bit like that, very carefully. I could cut those shorter depending on the size of the flower, and then I put that in the center of the flower I'm making. So that's what these two here are. This one's like a tiny little pincushion pin. This one is a padded little flower, and it's got a padded center, and it has beading done around it as well. This one is using doodads and pearls, and that's just put onto two little doily centers. This one here, I've used the cabochon. I've turned it upside down so the hanger is on the bottom, and I've put some dangles on the bottom and this lovely little flower on it as well. And I've put a lovely blue and rosy pink flower in that, and it looks really, really lovely. Put these on your projects. You can put it on the front of your packaging if you like. If you're putting it somewhere, I've just tied a little bit of a bow where it's poking out. I pinned it through and then just put my tulle through. There we go. A bit of tulle from Babycraft, and I just tied it like that and made a little bow. Like that. You don't need it big. And then I just trimmed the ends up so it wasn't too long. And it just looks pretty on whatever you're making to do that as well. I've also made one here using one of the pearl centers that I previously made, and I've just used some little felt circles on the back to attach that on there with some glue, and that's really pretty as well. And now I'm going to show you how to make this one. In fact, this one here, that's one I've made, and I've done a little tutorial on that for you so you can see how it's done. All the backs of them are finished off with little doily centers as well, so it makes them all very nice and tidy. So they are my projects for Babycraft, and that is the last video for this series from Babycraft. And once again, I'd like to say thank you to them for sending such beautiful products. It really gets my creativity going, and it gets me doing things that I haven't done, like the die cutting. I haven't done a lot of that, so it helps me to learn as well. So thank you everybody for watching, and take care. And there is a discount code in the description box below if anybody wants to visit Babycraft. and take care. Bye-bye. Alright, so I'm starting off with an 11 centimeter circle, and I have my fabric here. This is just a lining fabric from a wedding dress that I'm using. It doesn't fray too easily, so that's nice. First I need to find the circumference in the center there. I have a little pom-pom. That's what I'm going to be using inside. So I'm going to sit that in the center. And basically I need it that far away. I've just folded the fabric to the top of the pom-pom and maybe allow just a little bit extra, and that's where my circle needs to go. I have found that if I put washi tape, this particular one, because it's almost empty, I can probably do a circle in the center that size. So that's what I'm going to do with this one. Let's just make sure it's in the center of our circle as best possible. And I'm just going to put a little line, faint line, doesn't have to be too dark, just something to guide you in your stitching, that's all. So I can just see that there, and I'm going to try and stay where that circle is. I've got my needle and thread here, and I'm just going to do a running stitch around that. And this is with the right side up. This fabric actually looks the same on both sides, but if you had a fabric that definitely had a right side, you would want the right side up. Okay, so I'm just going to go, I'm going to leave a little tail there. I'm just going to do a stitch all the way around there. Alright, now that's done, I'm just going to trim my thread and get myself some more. Oh, hello Molly, how are you, darling? You come to say hello? You come to say hello to everybody? Keep moving. You're going to sit there, are you? Okay. You're a good girl. You're a good girl. Alright. So I'm just going to do a running stitch. All the way around the edge, just not too close because you don't want it, you know, you don't want it too close in case the fabric does fray a little bit. Leave a bit of a tail there. I'm going to continue doing that all the way around. Okay, so we're almost done now. Okay, so that's that done. Now we can turn it over and put our pom-pom in the center there. And grab the threads for the top and just pull it so that the pom-pom is enclosed in it, and tie it off. Now if you didn't have a pom-pom, you could use some wadding, just roll it in a ball. You could use a bead if you wanted to use a bead. I just happened to have a pom-pom laying around. A couple of them sat over there and I thought that'll do, so it looks like a little ghost, doesn't it? Look at that. And if you wanted to, you could wrap it around and tie it again. You just want a nice secure one, that's all. And it's not going to really be touched or moved around very much, so yeah. Okay, that should do fine. And then just trim those ends off without cutting your fabric. Okay, and once you've done that, then start pulling the other ones in, and they go to the back like that. And it will end up like that, see? But you've got to get these ends in. Now, you probably wouldn't want to, you don't want to be gathering it all the way in as tight as possible. Okay, I'm going to leave mine about there. About there will be fine, I think. Alright, so that's how it's looking now. So you just want to pull it out and pull all the gathers out, because they do tend to tuck inside each other. See, I could have even left that a little bit looser had I wanted to, but I'm quite alright with that, and it gives a real ruffled effect to the petal part of the flower. Like that. I have one of these tiny little felt circles here that's going to go on the back, and Pauline Roos gave those to me. Thank you, Pauline. Just trying to centre that as best I can, but you know, flowers aren't perfect. Well, they are perfect, but they're perfectly imperfect sometimes. They, you know, not every flower. Okay, I think that will be fine. I'm going to put a bit of glue in the centre there and around the edge there as well. And put the felt on the back. Don't want to get glue on it. And then press down, but you know, kind of make sure your little ruffle isn't caught at all. Okay. And now I could put a leaf behind that if I wanted to. Let's have a look, see what that looks like. I've got these lovely leaves here that I found at the op shop, and they're a white satin. They're lovely, aren't they? Maybe two, and I just think they're a little bit too white though, So what I'm going to do is get my Distress ink, which is antique linen, because the fabric's a creamier colour. I'm just going to ink the leaves up a little bit. And as the ink dries on the fabric, it will actually look a little bit darker as well. It's a bit hard to see the colour in the light, how much it's coming up. I have to move it around. It's a very dull day here today. So I'll go ahead and ink those both up. Okay, so they look pretty okay. Not as white as what they looked before. You could put a bigger flower around those as well if you wanted to make it a double flower. All you have to do that is just put another gathering stitch all the way around the edge, just like that, and pull it in to the desired size. That's just like a Suffolk puff or something, but I haven't hemmed the edge because, like I said, this fabric really doesn't fray, and I could put that in the center, and I like that look a lot. You could also stitch some beading around here if you wanted to. I think that would look really pretty with some lovely little small seed beads and things like that. Okay, so that is the size that I want to keep it. So now I'm just going to tie that off. Make sure it's not going to slip. Just organize it a little bit. Pretty, isn't it? Yeah, pretty. Now I have glued the back of that. I wasn't going to put a backing flower on, but I do like it with the backing flower a lot. Like that. So what I might do is take that one off there. I always find if you just put a couple of stitches in these, just so they don't move around too much. I'm just doing it so it holds its center more than anything. Now I can glue that straight onto there. Let's just knot that off. Oh, I don't need to knot that off, that's fine. Just put a glue there. Have that like that. Get ourselves a little corsage pin or coat pin or stick pin. You name it what you want, like that. Okay, that's going to go straight, probably straight on the back actually. Yes. Save that for another time. Get ourselves a little doily. Oh, hang on, I've got one over here still. Okay, get one of these. Just want to trim it down a bit. want to cut it like that. A bit more glue. Oh, hang on, we almost forgot our leaves. And the way I'm going to put those on is actually to thread it through. One of those holes. Give it a bit of a twist. Trim those off. And then the glue from the flower itself. Don't want to press too hard on these because they do bend. So the glue from the flower will hold that on there. So let's just, and a little bit on the ends of those flowers as well. Decide which way you want your flower. I think I want one there, like that. Okay. So that'll be like that. Which is really pretty, isn't it? Oh, see, I just bent that back a bit too much. There we go. Glue. Okay, now with this one here, a little doily piece, I will put some glue on the back. A little bit on the edges too. And then with the split over the stick part, I'm just going to put that there. And that's going to cover up all the workings of the back there and look pretty and finish it off really nicely. I'll put another bit of glue under that part there, I think. There. Okay. And there we have our little flower pin. And like I said, if you wanted to put some little beads around there, you could. Once that's dry, I might just try and get that point out there, and that's just a matter of fiddling with it to straighten it up. I didn't notice that before, but that's easy enough to do. So there we go. I hope you enjoyed this little tutorial. I hope you try something like this yourself. You can put it on the front of gifts. You can put it on your own lapel if you want to. You can put it in your projects, and I think that's really nice because you can put it wherever you want, and they have the lovely little cap at the bottom there as well. So take care, everybody, and once again, BB Craft, thank you so much for these wonderful products that you sent me, and I hope everybody has had fun watching what I've made with them. Okay, bye-bye now. Take care.